Welcome back. This tutorial is going to be in two parts. First, we are going to look at the use of tables to create distinctive parts of our website, and next we are going to look at the use of CSS to create the same distinctive parts of our website. And then we are going to compare, we are going to see the advantage of using CSS and against using tables. Now we are in the index of our web page, and as you can see, we have nothing currently on the web page except this white workspace area, and that's not how a typical website looks like. Let's take an example of this website. It has a background, then it has images, some effects and text. Now let's come back to our Dreamweaver. The first thing we need to do is give our page a title. Let us give this welcome. Let the title be welcome. You need to welcome people to your index page, and as we said earlier, your index page is also the home page. Now before we go on, I want to assume that you have gotten all your images prepared, all the images that you'll be needing for your website. This is part of your planning and preparation of designing a website. You need to get all your images ready, and you need to get all the other scripts that you'll be using ready. For beginners, don't worry about the script, but you need to put all your images together somewhere. Now if we take a look at this website, you will notice that there's a background. We do not have that white color that we have in this workspace here. You notice that this website actually has a background, and it has a text. It has some text and it has a logo. First, before we use the table, let us change this background. To change the background of our page, you simply make sure that your cursor is blinking in the workspace. Then you come down to this property inspector. This property inspector here is actually talking about the property of anything that you click in the workspace. Now in the property inspector, you notice a small tab here called page property. You click on your page property, and here you can actually customize the property of this particular page. You see the appearance CSS, appearance HTML. Now let's come to this first one. Both appearance CSS and appearance HTML affects this page. It affects the look of your page. Now let's look at the first appearance, the appearance CSS. In here you notice that you have a background color, your text color, and your background image, and we are trying to replace this background with a background image. If you come to your appearance HTML, you are also going to see the background image here. So let's come to the, right now we're on HTML and not on CSS. Let's come to the appearance HTML, go to the background image and click on browse. I already have my image in a folder known as the exercise file. The exercise file is uploaded with this tutorial, so you can download it from the exercise link up in the tutorial. So for reference, I have it in here. Here in our exercise file, and this is the background that I intend using. I click on the background, click OK, and a pop-up window comes up. And if you read what it's asking you, what it's actually saying here is that the folder where I have that image is not the root folder. By root folder, it means the folder that I specified when defining my site. The folder that you specify when defining your site is also called the root folder. But you notice that I have gone to another folder to get this image. Now what is asking me to do is, if I want to move that image from that other folder into the root folder, and my root folder here is the Treasureland folder, so I'll say yes because I would like to move it there, and it takes me into that folder, Treasureland folder. I'll simply click on images so that it will save it in the images, and I click save and apply here. Immediately I click apply, you see that my background changes from that white that you see before into this background, this image that I have selected, and I click OK. Once that is done, if you come up here, you notice that there is now a star. What this star tells you is that your page has been, your work has been effected, but it has not been saved. So you need to come to the file and click save. or you can use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl S. It still saves your page, and the moment you save your page, that star disappears. Now we have succeeded in changing our background color. To view this in browser, when I say view this in browser, I mean we want to see how it would look like if it was on the internet. And what do we use to access our internet? It's our browsers. Your Mozilla, your Firefox, and all that, they are all called browser. Now to view this in browser and have a feel of how it would look like if it's on the internet, I simply come here, up here. You see, once you put your cursor on it, it gives you the name of that thing comes up, and you click on it. You can preview it in any of the browser that you currently have on your computer. I have Chrome, Firefox, Explorer, and Opera. I prefer to use Chrome, so I click on preview in Chrome and it comes up. Now this is the background of that my website, as against the white color that you saw earlier. So going back to my Dreamweaver. Okay. Now let us take a look at the other website. Let us come back to our Chrome and see this website. Now we have right here that this website has a logo and it has some text here. Let's come back to our own website. Now we need to input a table. When you look at this website, it is the table that actually holds this logo and all these links that you have here. So let us come to our own website and insert a table. A table is such that you can insert a table into a table. You understand as we get along. To insert a table, you simply come to the insert menu up here, click on it, then scroll down to table. Like you can see, there are so many other things we'll be inserting. We'll come back to them later. For this purpose, we'll come to the insert table. Now you can also use the shortcut, the keyboard shortcut Ctrl Alt T, and it gives you this. In this dialog box, you specify the rows of the table, because tables are actually arranged in rows and in column, and your table has a width. You understand all this. Let us do something. Let us look at this table and give it a border thickness of 10. There's something I need you to understand. Let's leave this at 200. Leave this at 2 rows, and okay, let's leave it at 2 rows and 3 columns, and let's click OK. Now you can see the table that we have created. It has 1, 2, 3 columns and 2 rows, just as we specified. And you can this thickness right here, where you have that black outline, that is your table thickness. Now this is not quite what we want, but there's something I need you to understand. These table properties can actually be changed. When you click on your table, when you select your table and come down to the property inspector, you will see that it displays the properties of your table. It tells us the width of the table, tells us the rows of the table, and gives us the border of the table. Now let us bring this border down to 1. When you bring this border down to 1 and click anywhere within the workspace, you see that it takes effect, and you can see that our table thickness has also reduced. Now let us delete this. This is not quite what we want. I was just trying to show you the importance of our properties. Now let us delete this table. Let's go back to insert table. It brings up the dialog box again. Now I want to insert a table that has, let's come back to this website. I want to insert a table that has one row, one big table that has 1 row. Let us come back here. I want my table to have 1 row and 1 column, and I do not want it to just be that small table like we had there. I want it to occupy one end of my workspace to the other end. So I simply bring it down here to 100, and instead of pixel I come down to percent. by 100%, it means it will start from one end of my workspace to the other end of my workspace, and that is actually what I want. And I do not want a border thickness of 1. In fact, I do not want a border thickness at all, so I bring this down to 0 and I click OK, and you can see that my table has been inserted. It occupies from here to here. Now we have succeeded in inserting our table, but you notice that there is still something wrong. We need to have divisions in this table. I want my logo to be on this left hand side, and I want the other links to be on this right hand side. Let's assume I want 4 links for the home, about us, contact us, and services. I want 4 links, and I want them to be on this side, and I want one extra link to be on this side. That I want one tab to be on this side that will take my images. So I want this table to actually have 1 row and 5 columns. What do I need to do? I simply come back to this table and click on it. Then the properties of the table are displayed here. From this property inspector, I can now edit the properties of the table. I can come down here. Like I said, I want 5 rows and 1 column, and once I click anywhere within the workspace, it takes effect. Now you can, when you click on your table again, you can see that it has taken effect. Now looking at this table very well, you will see that it has actually divided it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns like we specified. Now let's come to the first column. It is in this first column, the extreme left column, that I want my image to stay in. Now the columns are such that the width can be adjusted. To adjust a column width, you simply come to the column boundary here, hold it down and move it anywhere you want. You can move it to the left and to the right, and you see that the width can be adjusted. So I come back to my first column. I want to insert my image. I already have my image also in that folder where I picked my background from. So to insert your image, you simply click on the column where you want your image to be, come down to this insert tab, click on insert, come down to image, then navigate to where your image is. In my own case, my image is in my exercise file, and the image I want to choose here is my logo. I click on it and click OK. A pop-up menu comes up asking me if I want to move that image from that exercise file into my root folder, Treasureland. Like we said earlier, the root folder is the folder you specified when you were defining your site. That is the folder you named when you were defining your site. I'll click yes, I would like to move it there. Then I'll click on images here so that all my images will be in the image folder, and I click open and save. And here another pop-up menu comes up asking you to tag your image. This is actually optional. Whatever text you put here is going to describe your image. This has several advantages, and I'll tell you some of the advantages. The chief of the advantage is that whenever you are using a slow browser, whenever someone is trying to access your site and the person is using a very slow browser, if that image doesn't load on time, what the person will see on the browser is this alternate text, this description of the image. So it is better to always put an alternate text here that describes what your image is for. But I choose to ignore it and I click OK, and immediately my image stays in position. I come to this next column, and